No, I love it. And, two words that kept popping up over and over again is financing and education when you were, just speaking. And, I want to dig deeper into that as well.
Sure.
So, as it relates to education, what are some of these conferences and events that people should go to if they want to educate themselves regarding real estate? Excuse me, regarding hotels.
Yeah. So a few of them are, well, one of them is I actually started doing workshops myself. I did my first one in Chicago with another gentleman who's actually a Black hotel owner last year, downtown Chicago. We just did a quick 90-minute workshop just trying to explain a lot of the pros and cons and walking people through like the actual valuation and analysis of it. A very quick rundown of it, of how do you value hotels and how do you, place a number of a value to it that makes sense to you. So that's something that we do. The other places, Nabhood is a great starter. It's usually every July in Miami, and that's Nabhood. And they have workshops that are, things as basic as the ABCs of hotel ownership. Another conference I would say that is worth going to is the Asian American Hotel Ownership Association, Aahoa, AAHOA. So if you look at their website, I believe on the front page it says they own their membership on 60% of the hotels in North America. So you just sit and start thinking about that statistics, and when you go to the conference and you see the power that's in that room, and you see just generational wealth that's been created for multiple families, it's very moving, and their conference is awesome. I mean, it's great content. I've gone there and seen workshops on everything on how do you create your own management company, to how does managing to owning. They have a specific track for independent hotel owners, or what does the Affordable Care Act mean for you as a business owner, for you as a hotelier. It gets very specific. And there's just a lot of in-depth, great education. And again, their membership pool is significantly larger than the Black Hotel Owner Association, as well as the Latino Hotel Association, LHA. These are three solid entities, and LHA, I believe, is right around Nabhood, usually the same week, like a few days before, usually also in Miami. So if you need an excuse to stay in Miami for a week, there you go. You're welcome. But those are really good conferences, and the Nabhood and LHA are a lot more intimate. You'll get a chance to have conversations with people, very frequently, because you'll be bumping into them, because it's just not, you're going to be talking about a handful of hundreds, versus if you go to the Aahoa conference, it's going to be, thousands on thousands of people. But it's great because you'll get to mix and mingle with hoteliers, and it's just a wealth of information. The other thing is the trade shows at these conferences too. When you go there, there's going to be things and questions that you didn't even think about. And that kind of leads me into another thing, which is that even if you're not interested in hotel ownership, like, hotels are huge consumers. You can be a vendor in the lodging industry. They all have to buy sheets. They all have to buy soap. They all have to buy shampoo. Who is selling that to them? Right? They usually go through the same companies, but how do you figure out, I go to this one conference and there's a guy there every year. He sells umbrellas. Makes a great living selling umbrellas to hotels. That's something nobody ever told you about when you were, in college. But he sells a product that is in need to a very, well capitalized audience. Then there's a technology side, and you get to see all the different tech that's available in the lodging space. You'll meet lenders there. You'll meet management companies. You'll meet everybody that you need to meet goes to these conferences. And it's a great place to start for education, which will lead you ultimately in being educated about financing, because you'll meet the lenders there, and you can have those some really good discovery conversations there that can lead to other long-term conversations.
You're wonderful. That's the wealth of knowledge information that I think I'm going to take advantage of personally. So you will see me at Nabhood probably in this July down to Miami. It's a quick trip from Medellin, Colombia. But
Yeah. Come to my panel there. I always do a panel. I'm on the hotel broker panels. It's always a really good time. Give out some good game on buying and selling hotels.
I want to get into this question of financing though. You and I had or maybe it was me and Lester, I can't remember, had a conversation in regards to it was you and I. We had a conversation in regards to like how people in other communities, specifically the Asian communities, whether you talk about Chinese or Indian or whatever, how they go about pulling their resources and pulling their money together to come and buy a hotel in a particular area, right? What have you seen as like how are they able to make that happen, like from a success standpoint? Like how are they successful in making it happen, and what are some of the key principles that we could take from what they're doing and
Mhm.
applying it to our community as it relates to financing these hotels?
Um, I'll quote a brother who actually said that he was moving in those circles of hotel owners, and he was trying to get closer to really figure it out and have somebody teach him how to split an atom. And he said it was not that complicated. It was simply cooperative economics. The very rudimentary math that I just gave you of, if we're sitting down and we say, hey, this hotel is for sale for $3 million. Okay, it looks like it needs $500,000 in renovation. So that puts us all in at 3.5 million. Okay, we've already know from the bank that we need to put down 20%. We're talking about a $700,000 equity raise. Let's go and have that conversation. I know my cousin has 350, so we got half of it, right? So he's going to be 50% partner. And then the rest of us can come up with the 75,000 or however, and that equals our equity share. It's as simple as cooperative economics and us being open to having the conversation with one another. I'm not going to say that people, and it's this myth that we're not working together and that we don't trust and all this other type of stuff. We are working together. We are trusting. It's just not that many of us that are moving in that space that are capitalized enough to buy hotels. You also start talking about just the overall economic conditions of Black folks, where even if you do have it, you're talking about a significant investment and it's a risk. Even if you do have it, it is a risk, right? So you start talking about fall from grace and how far that can be for us, that if you were to lose 75, 100,000, that could be devastating. Like I said, even if you do have it capitalized, that's a big thing for you to be able to commit to. Now, with that said, I have met brothers and sisters that do have that a lot. There's a good amount of us, and a lot of them are looking for other partners. I get those. Hey, look, I may only have 150. I know I can't do anything by myself. Let me know if you find somebody else that's equally healed, and we can have that conversation, because then if two people if one person has 150, another person has 100, now we can team up, and we're going into a deal, and we're presenting ourselves, just the two of us, as a $250,000 investment team, right? And it makes you a lot more attractive to investors. And there are people out there that are willing to work with one another to get these deals done in a cooperative fashion. So that's all it really comes down to. And then the thing is from that is that once you get into a deal and you figure it out, it's you break out and you do your own deal, and you just start putting on other. And it's the same thing we've seen, and I'm a big hip hop fan. I mean, we've seen that in the rap industry, right? In the rap game, one rapper gets on and that he puts on another, Lil Wayne puts on, Drake, and now Drake has his crew. And, everybody keeps growing and farming their own people who ultimately help make you richer, right? Nobody really wants to be rich by themselves, right? And we've hit a very interesting point. And when we start talking about cooperative economics in kind of society, in kind of Black culture, where we're starting to see these things re-evolve, right? And these themes, right? I mean, Jay-Z 444 album, Meek Mill talking about last year, let's talk about a challenge of how many businesses can we own? I don't want to just talk about all the luxury things, but let's talk about what can we own. And Rick Ross rapping about Wingstops and owning Wingstops, and all the businesses that Cameron is invested in. And these are people, whether you like their music or not, and whether they rap about their businesses enough, this is the space that they're moving in, and they're able to provide for their family and a whole nother level. So the cooperative economics is important because it allows you to put other people on. And I've seen it happen where somebody may have come in, sliver equity, 10% on a deal, and he may have done that, or she may have done that on 2 or 3 deals, and now they're able to be 50% on the next deal. right? And it takes time. You know, it's like Monopoly. Like you've never played a short game of Monopoly, right? Just think about that. Like Monopoly can go on forever, like unless you go broke, you know.
Right.
But you can usually play Monopoly for a very long time. So it's the same thing. Like it takes you a while to level up because you're building that skill set. You're figuring out who your team is. You know what pockets you can go into, and you'll find out that there's people. And once you've educated yourself and got the resources, people trust you. You know, now if you're the person that you know always has the newest pyramid scheme, you might have a little bit of a challenge. And I've seen that happen too, right? I've done a workshop, and I'll never forget we did a workshop, and there was a brand, and we did it in conjunction with Wyndham. And the first thing a brother asked, he was just like, "It's not a timeshare pitch." It was just like, "Nah," like he was just like, "Oh, okay, I'm just making sure because you know." And I'm like, "Why?" And it never even crossed my mind. You know, Wyndham Vacation Ownership is like a really big deal, but it's just no. We're here to talk about hotel ownership. And Wyndham was talking about some of the incentives that they have and initiatives, and you know, with their flags and the cost and things like that.